He didn't have his command. Even he escaped some jams. The third inning was where they scored on him. But he was scuffling to get outs. But he did the silver linings. He gave us some innings on a day we needed some innings.
With all the hits that they were piling up, you guys are only down 4. Did you kind of find yourself feeling a bit fortunate to only be down 4 at that point?
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a much wider gap. That's why I said he was able to escape some jams and get a little bit deeper in the game.
Simon was saying yesterday that he thought that his splitter, he was throwing it too hard. Is he still having that trouble?
It was a little firm tonight. When the harder the split is, usually the less action it has on it downward.
Or is it a concern based on his second half last year that he has 3 outings now in a row that have been kind of subpar here?
Well, we're not to the second half yet, but certainly his last 3 outings haven't been as good as his previous outings.
Brad, you talked about how good Java's stuff looked to you yesterday. What did you see in him today?
Well, I mean, he obviously got hit tonight. So the velocity was still there. It's tough to tell from the side exactly where the pitches were, but usually when the ball gets up in the air and travels, the pitch is up as well.
I know he's pitched 2 days in a row, but would you think about giving him a little extra time? He probably gets tomorrow off anyhow, I would assume.
Who?
Because he's gone 2 days.
I mean, he can pitch 3 days in a row. That's not a problem. But it's more of an issue if we had to get through this game without expending everyone for tomorrow.
With his struggles, though, would you consider or would you give him some time to maybe have him collectively get things together? Or
well, I would deal with that internally.
What made Burnett so effective?
He was hitting the outside corner pretty consistently. Obviously, the big breaking ball is a good pitch for him. He's really kind of retooled his whole approach to pitching since the time I faced him a decade ago to the type of pitcher he is now. He's much more of a control pitcher, but still has the breaking ball to get the swing and miss. So he did a nice job. He's done a nice job all year.
Brad, in the 7th, I think you were down 4 and Iglesias was bunting. What was the purpose of him?
I'm not sure. You have to ask him.
He did it repeatedly. I mean, I understand the element of surprise when you're trying to get on with a base hit, but is there? Can you stop him from bunting once he keeps trying? Or?
He's bunting on his own for a hit, so you'd have to ask him.
You mentioned the other day a win, the walk-off win meant more, the way it happened and the way you guys are playing. Does a win like this mean more, or a loss like this mean more? What happened last night and then today getting bombed?
I mean, today's it's a tough pill to swallow because we got our butts kicked. But in baseball, there's a game almost every day, and you learn very quickly to put last night behind you.
Is this team a little befuddling to the point that you guys obviously have a ton of talent and you're only a game above 500, or is that just baseball and it could be a lot worse?
It is. Well, it is baseball in a sense because sometimes it's almost like things don't come together at the right time. When you hit, you don't pitch. When you pitch, you don't hit. You can't seem to string hits together, or one big inning hurts you defensively. But it's certainly not unheard of. There's a lot of teams that are good rosters that struggle through the first half of the season or don't play up to expectation in the first half of the season. But over the course, like I've said it many times, the season's 162 games for a reason. Teams are set up for 162 games. So I still am extremely confident in this team. It's a winning ball club, and it's probably a little bit of a surprise what the record is based on the personnel, the names on the back of the jersey, but I still fully expect this team to be a winning team when the 162 games is done.